Welcome to this episode of the Awakening Women podcast. If this is something you've experienced in your life, and I'm sure you have because I've coached countless women on it, and it's something that I have experienced that came up again for me today, and I went deeper into it inside of the Quantum Wealth membership. It's my new coaching membership that I have open right now for enrollment. And what I'm doing in there is I'm sharing a little bit more behind the scenes of my processes, my practices, rituals, my inner shifting, and how I move through things so that they no longer hold me back. And I'm sharing them exclusively to my coaching membership ladies. And what we were talking about in this, and where I discussed, is that we tend to want to please other people over and above ourselves. And so actually inside of the membership, I did a series on detoxing from the nice girl. Trying to be the nice girl, the good woman, is literally giving us autoimmune diseases, cancers, a lot of belly fat. It's aging us. It's making us want to eat sugar and drink wine and all the things, because we're trying to numb out the pain of what it is to squash our truth, what we really want, what we really feel, what we really need. And instead of owning it and taking the steps we need to take to actually live in that truth, we suppress it and we stuff it down and we pretend we don't fucking need it. We pretend it doesn't really matter. We pretend it's not really bothering us. We pretend that the way that people treat us is, it's okay. I'm probably overreacting. I'm probably being too sensitive. I'm probably too much. Have you spent your life feeling like that? Because I know I have. And I say, fuck that. And that is the energy behind the self-sourced woman movement that I'm creating and that I'm bringing more into this coaching membership. It's real, raw, it's off the cuff. I'm sharing some really powerful, profound stuff in there from my own journey, from the things that I've learned over the last 13 plus years as a counselor, coach, through my own healing and work that I've done on myself for over 13 years now at least. And so I'm ready to bring it out and to really drop the veil and drop the mask of this is truly what it is to step into this woman. When you have been through the fire and you've walked on those hot coals and you know what that's like to walk through times that you literally wonder how you're going to make it through those times. And when we are in those times, what we need is powerful women to guide us. You don't need to be going to the people that make you feel worse, that have limited thinking, that are just trying to keep you small and keep you doing what it is that they need from you. It came up for me again today, and realizing to be a nice woman, we need to be guilty for putting ourselves first. We should feel badly for inconveniencing someone else, for changing our mind. And this can even be people that we love. It could be good friends. It could be a partner that we realize I need to change our plan, or I suddenly don't want to do that anymore, or, can we make this a different plan? And I just noticed that I just felt this sinking pit in my stomach. And you know that feeling, right? That pit in your stomach where you're like, oh, I just know how this is going to go if I say XYZ to this particular person. If you have any of those people in your life, I sure hope you don't anymore, but many of you do when you're dealing with some of these difficult men in relationships and in divorce. That's just the reality of it. And so this is why I'm no longer talking about that anymore. I'm talking about how are you going to become that unshakable, powerful woman, unapologetic woman who can stand in the face of all of this and people who are not good people that are going to do what they're going to do, but are you going to let that pull you out of your center, pull you out of your power and out of your peace and into their chaos? You get to decide if you're going to allow that. You get to choose. And it's not until you fully own that and you start to embody that and you start to learn how to anchor in yourself, anchor inner safety. Again, this is part of the self-sourced woman movement. Is I recognized that, through my journey, everything that I went through and all of the challenges I've had with men, my body, my health, money, was all coming from a place of not feeling safe within myself. And if you have not gotten my email series where I go through and share all of this, then I'll put the link in the show notes, and that will also give you access to my Taster Telegram channel where I'm doing occasional broadcasts in there. And that one is free. If you want a taste of what Telegram is like, that's where I do my coaching. That's where the coaching membership is housed. It's very convenient and I love it. And it's great for busy women that just want access when it works for them. And so it's more of being able to see that our patterns are a lot of times they're coming from not creating safety within ourselves. And I've been teaching on this for a very long time. I taught this in my program when I ran End the Cycle, my program for women in unhealthy relationships. And it's about being able to create an anchor in that feeling of safety within your body, not needing anything external to happen for you to feel safe. And this, it's going to make you feel unhinged for a while as you start practicing this. You're going to feel reactive. You're going to go back into old patterns of reactivity or doing things from a sense of urgency or your triggers. And I want you to learn how to be emotionally self-sourced, mentally self-sourced, spiritually self-sourced, and be able to create your own finances, your own financial cushion, no matter what you're doing in your life. You have to be able to self-source everything for yourself. And then if you are in a partnership, that just adds to that already built security. Because part of what I'm so passionate about now is putting the message out here about the things that women do that absolutely fuck up their lives. And I'm trying to guide my young daughters on this. They're 18 and 20, like how to set themselves up, how to protect themselves. Because when you go into a relationship with a man, you are putting yourself at massive risks. Let's just be really honest. And this is not about, poor women, poor weak women. No, this is about we need to step into realizing we give ourselves away too freely. And we need to stop that shit. We need to recognize what it is we want. What are our bottom line, like, what do I want in a relationship? And how do I protect myself going into a relationship? You know, women get themselves into really bad, unsafe situations by not having their own resources or giving up their jobs in favor to become a stay-at-home mom, which is that is the most important job of all. I was a stay-at-home mom, but it definitely hindered me in many ways. So I'm not here to say not to do that, but I'm definitely saying have your own income, even if you're a stay-at-home mom. And now what we can do online, there is no excuse. That's exactly what I did. I had an online business. I did work some jobs in between. I went to school to get my counseling. But I did that all around my kids. I was able to drop them off at school and pick them up after school. And I wouldn't change that for the world. But what I wish I had have done was got my financial shit together before going into that and having babies, because it is a lot harder with babies and all that in the mix. 100%. If you are coming out of a long-term relationship or you're out of one and maybe you're considering dating or you want to date, I could do a whole course on this just alone about why we need to protect ourselves as women and not just jump back into creating a new blended family. Like, let's put them in the Vitamix and blend them up. Doesn't work like that. That is I absolutely despise the whole blended family thing for the most part. I really do. I refuse to do it. I won't do it. I definitely did it because I had a son as a teenager and I had a baby as a teenager. And so I've learned from that. I learned where my mistakes were at and I won't do that again. You know, it's like I think it's like a 80% failure rate. What else would you go into in life that's an 80% failure rate? So going and doing a blended family is more likely to fail than not. And I've heard so many horror stories of women getting involved in this way and it going really bad. The man doesn't know how to lead the situation now. He doesn't know how to lead the woman within this family. He's weak and doesn't know how to do it. And there's also, then they get pregnant with an ours baby, and then now they're locked into this. And, you know, we have to take ownership. And so I can't help every single woman, but what I want to do is like give you the no bullshit, like, listen, like give your head a shake. If you want to get into another relationship after divorce, then you absolutely should. You deserve to have someone. You deserve to experience relationship and be able to do that. But I have very strong views around that when it comes to involving young children, minor children, and plunking them into something that's like, here's your new family, we're moving in, and now you've got to just suck it up because this is the reality. If it's teenagers or older children, maybe it's a little different because they're on their own, but for me, that's not something that I was wanting to do. All right, side note, I kind of went off there. But really we have to take ownership for our choices. That's it. And so I think I probably will be discussing more of this inside of the coaching membership around how we need to protect ourselves and stop worrying about being the nice girl. Stop worrying about being the good woman. And more of like less of a fear of being a bitch and stepping into that, because a strong, healthy, masculine man is going to want a woman that has a backbone, a woman that has standards and boundaries, who can express herself fully and not waver and not people please and abandon herself. It's only these weaker men that don't like it. And so your job is to build yourself up so fucking strong that you are the source of everything that you want instead of looking outside of yourself. So this is something I am so passionate about, and it's coming from my own dark night of the soul. All of the things that I have been through over the last several years that knocked me down more than one time, like really hard times. And I kept hearing this voice, no, this is going to be part of your story. You're going to help other women through this. You have to find a way through this because you need to be able to lead the way for women who are going through this. Strong women that refuse to back down, but you're like, my God, like what else? What else is coming for me now? Seriously. And I want to help you. And so that's why I created the Quantum Wealth Coaching Membership, where I'm in there 3 times a week doing audio broadcasts that you can listen to on your own time. I am accessible for you to ask questions within the app. And so then you get my eyes on what's going on for you so you can shift it quickly. And then there's Friday Q&As where I will be in there and actively answering questions all day that day that are posted. And you can join at a founding member's rate right now. The price is going up because of the level of accessibility I'm wanting to give. This doesn't mean you're going to get like in-depth coaching over like a long period of time in there. This just means that if you have something you need help with that day, I will give you next steps and you will have access to me for that reason. Obviously, it's not the same level as if you were to invest in one-on-one coaching and get all access, but this is a way you can get access to me and get those mind and emotional energy shifting audios that I'm going to be putting in. And you can be part of the movement as it's being built. And so I invite you to join us inside. And so one of the things that I want to say is, as this body of work is evolving, it literally is evolving through my own evolution. So you're getting into this coaching group on the ground level. You're locking this pricing in because I see this going further and becoming a much more expensive space as I build it out. But I'm just getting started right now. This is my vision, is to create a space where women can learn these principles and we can all grow together and expand our minds beyond the matrix, beyond the masses and the way everybody else thinks. I have a very different way of viewing life. I'm woo, I'm holistic. I don't think a lot like everyone else. I am what I would consider the part of the 1%. And I want women who are also in that category to be part of this. I want to bring us all together so you can all connect. Instead of feeling like, is everybody like this negative? Like everybody's talking about politics and the news and what's wrong and how expensive everything is. And you wonder why you're so drained around these people. Like, we're not talking about that in there. This is a space for expansion and putting power to what you have control over. It's not to say we ignore what's going on in the world, but we need to pay more attention to what's going on inside of us, because that's where we have the power. Too many people are focused on what's going on externally, and we leak our power in that. And so as you are evolving and you're getting clear on who your inner self-source woman is, and every woman's is different, because you have to tap into who that is. How she feels and thinks, and how she looks, how she dresses, how she moves through life, how she creates, how she loves, how she takes care of herself. It's your own unique blueprint, but I'm going to guide you through how do you get in touch with that? How do you embody it? And as I am building this out, you're going to be part of that inside of the membership. So definitely get in there and lock in the rate. As I said, it is going up next week to $333 per month. And I see this continuing to evolve and the price going up over time as I'm putting more in this. I'm developing it out. It's going to grow with us. That's my goal. So come on inside the Quantum Wealth Coaching membership, and I'll see you inside.